Hi everybody, Adam Steele here, and today I wanted to talk about a new set of pickups. These are the Fluence pickups from Fishman. They've sent these over for me to try, and for me to talk about the difference between active and passive, and these that are somewhere kind of in the middle. So the debate has raged on for years about active versus passive pickups in guitars. Passive pickups apparently have a more dynamic tone. They can kind of, if you dig in and give them dynamics, they give you more back. Active pickups traditionally have been quite kind of focused, compressed sounding. You can actually see it on the waveforms quite often as passive versus active. You see big spikes on passives and kind of a block on actives. Now, Fishman have sent me these pickups to try, and the best way for me to try these is to have a donor guitar and put those in there. So, this guitar is one that I have that's a custom-made Telecaster from Stephen Hart. And it currently has EMGs in there. These are the classic 81-85 set, and they do exactly what they are reported to do. The clean sounds are quite, especially on the bridge pickup, the clean sound is a honk, but on the neck pickup, the clean sound is quite full and bassy, and the bridge pickup is just compressed tight mids and just solid. What we're going to do is, I've done a tiny little demo with these. I'm not going to dwell on these for the entire video. That's not the purpose of this video. But I figured this guitar would be really good for this because it's already got a battery route and it's already got active electronics in here. Now the Fluence pickups are technically active, but they can very much sound, apparently, like passive pickups because they have kind of a passive system hooked up to an active preamp thing. So the sets that I've been sent are, drum roll please, the Modern Humbucker Set, the Tosin Abasi Signature Series, and the Devin Townsend Signature Series, which I'm very excited for. I love Devin Townsend's guitar tone, and hopefully this is quite a crucial piece of that. So, what I could do, put these down for a second. What I could do is take this guitar that has a tone pot and a volume pot in there that are 25 kilo ohm, which is what you usually use with active systems. I could just drop these pickups straight in here, but I'm not going to do that because these pickups come with extra options on the back. They've got these voices, so you can make them sound like single coils. Some of them you can also make sound more vintage or more modern. So I'm going to change out both of the pots. So I've got two push-pull pots. One will be kind of the single coil thing, and one will change between the voices. The actual exact wiring is different for each set of the Fluence pickups, depending on what the signature artist wanted it to do, but they're all on this kind of solderless system. I will have to do a little bit of soldering first, though, to get the guts ready, but once I've done that, I'll be able to just pull the pickups out, throw new ones in straight away. Now, these are brand new strings as well. These are a Diodario 7-string set of 9s. It's a 6-string guitar. I've just kind of not used the thinnest string. So this is tuned to my favorite tuning, which is drop B. And so I'm going to use a ruler to measure the pickup string heights. I'm going to flip this over and take out the electronics, and God help me. And we'll see how far we get. It's probably going to be a day 2 job before I get back to this, because I've just finished filming a different video. So you may see me change t-shirt. Stay tuned. And here I am. As it turns out, I opened this up, started looking at the electronics and kind of went, nope. And got the guys at Jack's Instrument Services to do that. And those guys are amazing and they did this in very short space of time, so thanks to those guys. The reason it was a little over my head is I've had this wired in a specific way so that I can pull one of these parts and it'll change these pickups from voice 1 to voice 2. And the other one will do a coil tap on both pickups, which if I'd sat down and really concentrated, I'm sure I could have done it, but I took the time to send it to somebody who could do it right. My electronic skill is beginner, really. And I kind of know what I'm doing, but I wanted this done right. So let's have a listen to this on full-on Devin mode. Nice. So that's the bridge pickup on voice, I think it's voice 1 is the default, which is the full-on Devin barking ceramic thing. And I'll just stay on the purple channel for a minute because I'll change from voice 1 to voice 2. And you should hear that right now there's kind of a mid-barking voice that will make it sit in a mix. And then when I pull that out, it will become a lot more like a traditional humbucker and have more of a clarity to it. So as it stands, and change. And 1. Now, it definitely appears to me that the lower gained voice is a lot more touch sensitive, probably because the other one's being really pushed. But this is still all on the bridge, and if I coil tap this, we should get a very different sound again. Not that much of a difference on voice 1, but if I go to voice 2 and coil tap, it's definitely got more of a single coil kind of bite. Now let's go to channel 1 so we can hear this in a much more clean context. So here's the full-on full blast bridge on Devin mode. So it's really pushing this. Even though there isn't any gain on this channel, it's already started to break up the phase inverter. So let's bring this into voice 2 and we'll hear the bridge suddenly become more usable in clean mode, let's say. Nice. And now let's single coil this. Right, let's move on to the neck pickup. Let's leave it on this voicing with the coil tap and voice 2. Woo! Spicy. Let's bring this into voice 1, but still with the coil tap. Nice. And on channel 2, the green channel here, this is a significantly less gainy channel, which means it's a bit more Marshall-esque. On the neck pickup, I can get a very kind of, not a telly-like sound, but something approaching that with that. Did you notice then in the middle of this slightly kind of medium gain channel, when I changed the voice, the low end came thundering in. This voice 2 has a lot more low end and a lot less of that mid focus. I'm imagining that'll work a lot better with kind of gain pedals that cut low end. But if I stick this in, it cuts some of that low end out, but I would imagine in a dense mix, this will suddenly fit better. And then, of course, we've got our red channel where, when we're all guns blazing, nice. And on the voice 2, that voice switch makes this really versatile. Now, I'm going to quickly do a few back-to-back parts for the comparison, and I'm going to try and play them roughly like I did on the EMGs, best I can, because it's been a few days since I did those, so the exact riffs won't be the same, but the same sort of style should be there. And I'll do both voices, then I'll change these pickups to the Tosin Abasis. Alright, I've just restrung this off camera and put the string heights to exactly the same using a string ruler as the Devins, and they were set up to be the same as the EMGs. Turns out the EMGs were a little lower than I'd usually do them, but for consistency, that's where we're going to keep them. And the Tosins, with the gain on, they don't sound too different, but the cleans, very different indeed. Where the Devins had a coil tap mode, these have a full single coil mode. Listen to this. Lovely and clean, which means that you can do that Tosin-y kind of that kind of thing. I'm not very good at doing that on a guitar because my string spacing is usually much wider, but I can, with the single coil mode, go. And then I can come out of single coil mode to a very barking sound, and on the other voice, there's a bit more low end, bit less of that upper mid clarity. Let's put some gain on this. Sounds pretty meaty in green mode. That single coil mode is really interesting with some gain on. Very different. And I compare that on the same gain to... Very versatile set. Let's go for the purple channel. There's immediately a clarity about these where the Devins had more of a kind of a mid-focused saturation, a snarl, a grind. These are much more of a refined tone, even on the main angry voice. If I go to voice 2 here... Still a bit more low end in there, but it's not woofy. And yeah, really clear is the word of the day for the Tosins. Surprisingly enough. Let's try this with the single coils. Clarity on that is making me play. It's leading me towards playing, throwing more notes in there, giving it more of a complex feel rather than a chug, chug, chug. That's really interesting. And red channel. Yeah, the voice number 1 here has that definite thickness, whereas I'm betting that number 2 has a little bit more on the chuggy side. Yeah, these Tosin pickups are immediately a lot more clear, transparent, and unforgiving, honestly, because they have more of a dynamic, they have more space in between the notes because of the way the pickup's voiced. You have to be a better guitarist than me, I think, to get the maximum out of these. So let's do our back-to-backs and switch pickups again to the modern humbuckers. Alright, more pickup heights and more strings later. I'm really burning through strings with these. But it has to be done for science. These are the modern humbuckers, and these really breathe fire. These instantly make this amp sound like kind of modern radio rock, which is great if that's what you're after. The modern Fishman Fluence. Now let's listen to these on the clean channel. This will give you a bit more insight. So this is how it sounds all guns blazing on the main voice. You'll notice the low end is really kind of cleared out here, and I wonder if that's part of the modern designation. The switches on the back of these are slightly different. There's no coil tap mode that I know of on these, but there is a high frequency tilt mode, which just takes a little bit of the highs away. So instead of that, it's very subtle. Just softens the top off. Makes it sound a little bit more like a kind of a darker classic pickup. But the other one is the voice switch. So we go from this more kind of mid-forward to this. Slightly less pokey sound that's still not got nearly as much low end as some of the signature pickup sounds that we chose there. So this could be more useful if you just want humbuckers. You want humbuckers. There was also an extra switch in here for voice 1's gain, but because that was an extra set of pins, I couldn't connect them all. But that's something you can do if you want to add an extra switch onto your guitar. You can definitely do that. But yeah, on green mode, let's see how this sounds. Yeah, so it's not as thick as the Devins, it's not quite as clear as the Tosins, but it's got that balanced, yeah, like I said, radio ready kind of thing. I'm really quite liking this. Let's try that with the high frequencies damped a little. Just shaves a little bit of scratchiness off the top. And let's try voice 2 instead. Yeah, so the main voice has a lot less woomph in the low end, which, depending on how heavy you're hitting and how kind of deep the amp sound is, could really help control things. But if I was going for, say, let's back the volume off and let's try that kind of a sound, but on voice 2. Nice. Much more subtle change than on the other pickups, so maybe you might even want to wire a guitar up without those choices and just pick your favourite voice. If it's voice 2, then you short the pins on the back of the pickups. If not, leave them and you're good. That's it. Done. Winner. I like these a lot. Let's try the red. Yeah, the extra low end on voice 2 may be a little much, but if you've got quite a thin sounding amp or a slightly thin sounding drive, there's the cure. But as it is with this, it sounds a bit like kind of an early 2000s wrestling theme tune. That kind of overly chuggy thing, but without that. that might just take away the need for a boost, or it might help a boost that cuts low end to make you really sit in that mix. So if you're looking at making heavy tones but mix sitting, there you go. After some thought and debate, I've decided that after this video, I think I'm going to switch this guitar to the Devin pickups, because for me, I think that will work the best in this guitar. As you can see in the background, I have a selection of guitars, and I just want one that fills out a thick rhythm sound, and the Devin does that in spades. If it wasn't that, for me, it would be the Moderns. The Tosins are amazing, but I think I might keep hold of those for a different guitar build entirely, because they're the kind of sound that, yeah, they've got a place, definitely, for sure. So yeah, watch this space. But yeah, if you enjoyed the sound of these versus the EMGs, which I'll put the comparison at the end here, then check out the link in the description below. You can get yours and get them ordered, get them installed in your guitar. They come with all the electronics, I think I said that earlier. So you don't need to buy any separate electronic kits unless you're going really weird with your wiring, which is entirely up to you. Thanks for watching, hit the like button, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing, we're just around 50,000 subscribers at the moment, at the time of producing this, and it's something I'm very grateful for. So thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Should just mention at this point as well that all the settings on here should be identical between the EMG section and this. I used a screen grab from the video to make sure the controls were in the exact same position. Here we go. Hey everyone, that might be the end of the video, but if you fancy carrying on this conversation, we have a Discord server, link is in the description. We're also on Patreon, which is something you can really help us with. We also are on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Hop Pole Studios. See you there.